Hey guys, Yankee here, and today I'm going to be giving my thoughts on the M.O.D.O.K TV show on Hulu. I watched this over the last couple days sort of on a whim, and I figured I'd sit down and make a video about it. I'll give a brief history of this show real quick. A couple years ago, Hulu announced 4 animated Marvel shows: M.O.D.O.K, Hitmonkey, Dazzler and Tigra, and Howard the Duck. Two of them got canceled. Dazzler and Tigra and Howard the Duck got canceled, which is a bit disappointing since Howard the Duck was the one I was most interested in because I liked that movie growing up. But M.O.D.O.K and Hitmonkey still coming out, and M.O.D.O.K just came out a few months ago. Um, this is an animated show made by the people that make Robot Chicken, so it's in sort of that style, and it's got a lot of the same humor of that show. Um, so, the plot of this show is basically M.O.D.O.K has a wife, he has 2 kids, and he's running his evil organization AIM. And we got family drama because we got divorce going on. We've got workplace drama because he basically signed his company away to Google, to one of those big tech companies. And then we just got a lot of, in my opinion, not very funny humor. Um, let's start with the family drama. Well, I guess we'll start with, I don't really know a whole lot about M.O.D.O.K. I've probably seen him here and there. I talk about comics a little bit here on this channel, but I've never been a huge comics guy. I would get things here and there, and there was a brief window where I was reading comics regularly. So I don't really know much about M.O.D.O.K. The only place that I really remember him from is the Unbelievable Gwenpool comic, which I really enjoyed. So in this show, M.O.D.O.K, he's got a wife, he's got a son, he's got a daughter. His wife is there was a Japanese woman a few years ago who had a Netflix show about how to clean or whatever, tips on how to keep yourself I don't know, oh, if you clean well, you'll be happier and things like that. And she's sort of like that. She does she's YouTube videos or whatever, and she's got a book deal, and so that's the wife. And then he's got a teenage daughter, and then I don't know how old the son is, 12, 13 maybe. Um, so the end of the first episode, we got divorce stuff. The wife wants a divorce, whatever, and that drama basically plays out through the whole season, and it's not great. It's just sort of generic and boring. Um, I think generic and boring is a pretty good way to describe this show. And then the workplace drama is sort of the same, where M.O.D.O.K signed over his company because he was going to lose it. And then it's just he's no longer in charge. He's got a new boss. And that's where the drama comes in, where they're doing things different than it was before. I said this was made by the people that made Robot Chicken. I've only seen a few episodes of Robot Chicken. I don't find that show particularly funny, and a lot of the humor in this feels like the humor I remember from those episodes of Robot Chicken. I only laughed a couple times during it, and just generally I was rolling my eyes through a lot of the humor. But one thing I do like about this is the style. I like stop motion stuff. And Robot Chicken is stop motion, but it's sort of, Robot Chicken was always weird because whenever I watched, it looked like they had found old toys, and then would just I don't know, they had a little putty, and they would put little paper mouths on them to make it look like they were talking. Whereas this show has a bit of that, but you get M.O.D.O.K, who's doll or figure or whatever you call that. It looks really cool, and it's got you can see lines around his mouth where they obviously pop it out and put in new mouths for each mouth movement. Yeah, the animation looks it looks really neat. There are a few fights throughout the show where I think they look really good. I think it was the second or third episode. It was pretty early on in the show, where M.O.D.O.K travels back in time and fights a younger version of himself. And it's only a really quick, maybe 30-second fight. but it looks really good. And then later on, we get another fight against another character, which is much longer, and it looks pretty good. Whenever they're doing fight scenes, I think they look pretty good. Um, Animation in general, I think, looks good. I like stop motion. I think it's well done in this. Um, but it was really dragged down by the humor, which I didn't really find all that funny, and just characters that I don't care about. I like they suck, right? Um, M.O.D.O.K sucks. M.O.D.O.K's wife sucks. M.O.D.O.K's kids suck. And they're just like, I just don't care. Like, it's not even like they're bad people, so I'm laughing when bad things happen to them. It's like, these characters are terrible. I don't really care what happens to them. So when bad things happen and I'm supposed to laugh, I don't really laugh. Um, but yeah, the show overall, not really for me, I guess. I did watch the whole thing. It was fine. Some of the parts that I liked were like some of the obscure characters that they brought up, right? There was one episode, like 4 or 5, where M.O.D.O.K basically teams up with a bunch of Z-list villains that I've barely heard of, if at all. What was it? I think one of them was Pound Cakes. One of them was like the Armadillo. One of them was like a bowling pin. I don't know who that is. One of them was just called the Heater, and he could heat things. Um, and that was neat. That was probably my favorite episode of the whole show. Um, Probably my second favorite episode was one where Arcade shows up, and we get M.O.D.O.K and his family in Murder World, and that was a lot of fun as well. So whenever the show was doing like grabbing like these obscure weird characters, uh, I think they did a really good job of presenting them in a way that was interesting. Like seeing characters I'd never heard of and sort of like obviously this isn't how they probably act in like the comics or whatever, but it was still neat and I still became sort of interested in them, which is something that I think a show like this, that's what the purpose of a show like this should be, to get you interested in going and finding out about these characters, right? Um, and now the final thing I sort of want to talk about here is the finale. Overall, the show, not for me. It was fine. If you like Robot Chicken style humor and you like the other shows those people have made, you'll probably like this. If you like Marvel stuff and you like that, you're gonna love it. The finale. It it took the whole season to sort of like get a good hook, right? You usually want your first episode to sort of hook people and then they go along. But right at the end, we get this like M.O.D.O.K gets a choice, right? World domination, something he's been striving for a long time, or his family, right? He's got to make the choice. Control the world, save your family. And he chooses world domination, and he lets his family die. And the show ends with him basically having conquered Earth, and his goal now is to find a way to go back and save them. And I thought that was really good. That was great. Right? He's supposed to be a villain. He can do villainous things. That's fine. Um, and it was good. And now I want to see more. Like, if a season 2 happens, which I'm not sure it will, I'll check it out just for that finale. Because while the whole season itself wasn't really my thing, like that, the way it ended was interesting enough that I want to see where they go with it. So yeah, that's sort of my thoughts on M.O.D.O.K. It was probably a pretty messy video, like they usually are. But I don't know. If you like Robot Chicken, you'll probably like this show. If you don't, you won't like this show. Anyway, that's going to do it for this video. I'll see you guys next time.